Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we step into a world of wonder, where myths breathe and time feels endless. We travel back to ancient Greece, where stories were more than tales, they were whispers carried by wind and firelight. These myths held the questions we still ask today about power, wisdom, love, and the longing for more than we are given. Our story begins not with thunder, not with battle, but with the whisper of a hidden river, glowing and eternal. They said its waters could grant everlasting life, a gift so rare that even gods stopped to listen. Picture a river that flows without end. Its surface shines like silver, carrying promises beyond the reach of time. But what if a god already eternal grew curious of such a gift? What truth would he discover in those waters? This is not a tale of conquest, but of choice, of meaning, and of the moments that define us. So, join me now. Walk beside Zeus, king of Olympus, as he follows the whisper of the river. This is Time's Zeus and the River of Immortality *. There are stories that are shouted in markets, sung in songs, carved in stone, and there are stories that move quietly, like smoke drifting, or a stream rippling under moonlight. Our tale begins with one of those quiet stories, unnoticed at first, yet strong enough to stir even the gods. The ancient world was filled with rivers. Some roared through mountains, others trickled softly through fields and villages. Mortals saw rivers as lifelines, carrying water, harvest, and hope. But hidden among them was said to be a river unlike any other. A river that did not only quench thirst or feed the earth, but whispered of something far greater. They called it the River of Immortality. No map showed its course, no city claimed it. Yet some swore they saw silver light shimmering across its surface. They said the river glowed with its own breath, and if you listened closely, it sang without words, speaking directly to the heart. Most dismiss the tale as superstition, yet rumors, like rivers, always find their way. From villages they spread to temples, from temples to oracles, and from oracles at last to Olympus. The gods rarely cared for mortal whispers. They had seen stars born and empires fall. Yet this rumor was different. What could a river of immortality mean to beings already eternal? Was it a reflection of their power, a hidden rival, or something even they had never known? Apollo heard it first from a priestess in trance. He only smiled, saying nothing. Artemis glimpsed a shimmer on a forest lake and wondered if the stories were true. Hera frowned when she heard, calling it foolish. But even she paused in thought. And then there was Zeus, king of the gods, lord of the sky, master of thunder. Eternity already belonged to him. Yet curiosity stirred, for immortality is not only endless life, it is permanence, meaning the trace that endures. Could this river hold a secret even Olympus had not touched? He heard shepherds whisper their flocks never aged after drinking from a hidden stream. He heard wanderers swear they had walked for centuries, unchanged, chasing the river's source. Zeus doubted the tales, yet the whisper lingered. In quiet moments, when thunder slept and skies were calm, he thought of the river. He imagined waters glowing in the dark, stretching into unknown lands. He pictured his reflection in water that knew no end. Even the most powerful are drawn to mysteries, not from need, but from wonder. Without mystery, even eternity feels hollow. So Zeus leaned closer to a whisper most mortals had forgotten. The River of Immortality. Was it real, or only a dream spun by longing hearts? No one knew. Yet the whisper grew, carried by wind, woven into song, etched into dreams. And as with every great myth, curiosity would soon become a journey. We pause now, at the edge of mystery, where a river waits in silence, a story flowing quietly, like water, yet strong enough to stir the heart of Zeus himself. Curiosity is a gentle spark. It begins small, almost invisible. But if left to grow, it can turn into fire. For Zeus, the whisper of the River of Immortality was that spark. He was king of Olympus, master of the skies, wielder of thunder. Yet even he was not untouched by wonder. At first, Zeus treated the story like countless other mortal tales. Mortals often wove myths out of dreams, shaping rivers, mountains, and stars into stories of hope. But this story lingered. It carried a rhythm, like water tapping softly at the edges of his thoughts. Why should the king of gods be curious about a river? Zeus was eternal. No sickness could claim him. No blade could cut him down. Time itself bent around his throne. But curiosity does not follow logic. It follows longing. Zeus had lived through ages mortals could not imagine. He watched kingdoms rise in brilliance and crumble into dust. He heard the laughter of generations, only to watch it fade into silence. To live forever was both gift and weight. So when he heard of a river that promised immortality, he thought beyond himself. Could this river hold a power greater than Olympus? Could it be older, deeper, woven into the world's roots? The thought unsettled him. For if such a force existed, then perhaps the gods were not as all-knowing as they believed. And that was a thought no ruler could ignore. Zeus tried to brush the whisper aside. Yet it returned in quiet moments, steady as water wearing down stone. One evening, twilight painted the heavens gold and violet. Zeus walked alone through the gardens of Olympus. Flowers shimmered in fading light, and fountains sang with bright voices. Yet in his ears, he heard another song, the imagined song of the river. He paused by a fountain, water spilling into a crystal pool. The sound was bright, playful, but he closed his eyes and pictured something deeper. Water glowing in the dark, a current older than memory, a promise that even eternity could not explain. Why does this story not leave me? He thought. What do you hide, River of Immortality? For Zeus, questions often led to answers. He was a god of action, not hesitation. But here he hesitated. For the first time in ages, mystery pressed against him. The other gods noticed. Hera saw the shadow in his eyes. Apollo, with foresight, smiled, but spoke no words. Athena studied him in silence, waiting for him to ask what he had not yet spoken. Still, Zeus kept the matter close to his heart. Kings cannot reveal uncertainty too easily. Yet inside, his curiosity grew. He thought of mortals who feared death, longing for one more breath, one more sunrise. If the river existed, could it offer them that? Should it? What would endless life mean to a heart not built for eternity? He also thought of the gods, immortal, yet bound by roles, duties, rivalries. Could the river change even them? Would it bring freedom or burden? The more he thought, the more he knew this was no ordinary tale. It was not about power. It was about understanding. And understanding, Zeus knew, was worth any journey. So the spark of curiosity burned brighter. He did not yet rise from his throne. He did not summon storms or winds to carry him. That would come later. For now, he listened. He imagined. He let the whisper fill him. Because before any journey begins, the heart must be ready to walk. And Zeus's heart, though mighty and eternal, was stirring with the call of the unknown. On Olympus, the air shimmered with light. Clouds draped the mountain like robes of silk, and halls of marble glowed with the breath of the Sunday. It was here, in the heart of eternity, that Zeus called the gods together, for the whisper of the River of Immortality had grown too loud to ignore. The great hall of Olympus was no ordinary chamber. Its pillars rose like trees of stone, reaching into the sky. The floor reflected the heavens, a mirror of shifting clouds and constellations. When the gods gathered, their voices filled the air like music, sometimes harmony, sometimes storm. On this day, curiosity was the thread pulling them in. Zeus stood tall at the center, gaze firm, yet thoughtful. Lightning rested at his side, not as a weapon, but as a reminder of who he was. Around him, the gods assembled, Hera, regal and watchful, Athena, calm and composed, Apollo, radiant as the Sunday Artemis, silent but alert, Poseidon, restless as the sea. Each had heard the whispers. Each carried their own questions. Zeus spoke first. My kin, you have heard the tale. A river that grants immortality, hidden from mortals and from us. What are we to make of it? The hall fell silent. The question hung heavy as stone. Hera broke the stillness. We are eternal already. What need have we for such a river? If mortals dream of it, let it remain their dream. Some doors, once opened, cannot close. Her words were firm, filled with caution. She knew every gift carried a shadow. Apollo leaned forward, golden light in his eyes. Perhaps, Hera. But knowledge is not to be feared. The river may not be for us, but it may hold truths older than Olympus. Truths prophecy cannot see. Athena nodded, voice calm as a quiet library. Apollo speaks wisely. The question is not immortality, we already have it. The question is meaning. To ignore the river may be to ignore a lesson meant for us. Poseidon scoffed, laughter rolling like waves. You speak of lessons as if the world were a classroom. Rivers are mine to know, and none I command carry such a gift, which means it is no ordinary river. Artemis spoke softly, but her words carried weight. I once saw a shimmer upon a lake, deep in the wilds. It vanished before I touched it. Perhaps nothing, or perhaps the river's breath. The hall stirred with murmurs. Gods shifted, wondering if the tale was real, or only longing shaped into rumor. Zeus listened. Hera's caution, Apollo's hunger, Athena's search for meaning, Poseidon's pride, Artemis's quiet witness. Each voice carried truth, but no answer. At last, Zeus raised his hand. Silence returned. Perhaps this river is nothing but wind in reeds, or perhaps it is older than titans, more enduring than stars. If it exists, we cannot ignore it. His voice echoed through the vast hall. This is not about drinking its waters nor claiming its gift. It is about understanding. If the river flows, its song belongs to the world, and we must listen. The council murmured again, softer this time. The spark of curiosity had reached them all. And so, beneath the shining dome of Olympus, the gods turned their thoughts toward the unknown river, some with fear, some with hope, some with silent longing, but all of them, whether they admitted it or not, felt the whisper of the river flowing through their hearts. The council on Olympus had ended, but questions lingered like mist after a storm. Zeus found no rest. The River of Immortality was a riddle that gnawed at his thoughts. When gods sought answers beyond their reach, they turned to the oracle at Delphi. Her cave was no dwelling, but a threshold where the mortal touched the divine. Whispers of fate slipped through the veil of time there. So, Zeus descended from Olympus, not as thunderous king, but as a seeker cloaked in thought. The path wound through valleys bathed in moonlight. Olive trees stood silent as witnesses. Even for the ruler of heavens, the journey to Delphi felt sacred. The oracle awaited in her chamber, lit not by fire but by unseen forces. Shadows danced on stone walls. The air trembled with quiet power. She sat upon her seat, eyes half closed, gazing beyond this world. Zeus entered. She did not rise. Oracles bowed to no king, not even the father of gods. She spoke first, her voice fragile yet vast, like wind in ancient caves. You seek the river, she said. It does not flow with water, but with time itself. Zeus frowned. Then it is true? The oracle tilted her head, listening to distant echoes. True and not true. The river is not bound to stone. It flows within the world and beyond. To drink is to unweave the fabric that binds you. Her tone deepened. To stand before it is to see what even gods fear. Zeus's gaze sharpened. Fear does not guide me. No, she said gently. But longing does. You rule eternity, yet still you search. Tell me, King of Olympus, what do you truly seek? The river's gift or its reflection? Silence filled the chamber. Even the air seemed to wait. Zeus did not answer at once. Her words touched the heart of his unease. He had thunder, wisdom, loyalty, power. Yet the river pressed upon him like an unfinished song. The oracle's eyes opened, gleaming with light not of this world. The river cannot be claimed. It cannot be owned, but it can be found. And when you find it, you will face a truth no lightning bolt can strike away. Zeus leaned forward. Where is it? She smiled, sorrow in her eyes. Follow the path where time forgets itself, where rivers meet the sky and stars touch the earth. Seek not alone, for the river reflects all who walk beside you. Her voice grew faint, carried like smoke. The chamber dimmed. Her body lowered, weary from vision. Zeus stood in stillness, riddle heavy in his mind. He had come seeking answers, but received more mystery. Yet in that mystery burned a spark. The river was real, and it called him. Leaving Delphi, he stepped into the wide night. The stars gleamed like watchful eyes. The wind carried a whisper, not unlike the oracles. The river was out there, flowing through realms known and unknown. Though Zeus did not know the path, he knew his journey had begun. And somewhere, unseen, the river stirred. The oracle's words lingered in Zeus's mind long after he left Delphi. They clung to him like a forgotten song, haunting and irresistible. Asterisk. Follow the path where time forgets itself, where rivers meet the sky, where stars touch the earth. Asterisk. But what did it mean? For nights, Zeus walked beneath constellations, restless as shifting winds. Even the thunder in his veins grew quiet under the weight of mystery. It was not long before signs began to appear. The first came at dawn. A shepherd looked up and swore he saw a ribbon of silver unravel across the sky. It shimmered, then vanished, leaving behind the echo of flowing water. The second came at twilight. A hidden pool glowed, though no moonlight touched it. Its surface rippled, though no breeze stirred the air. Animals paused, awed, as if the water itself carried a secret. Zeus observed in silence. These were not tricks of light. They were whispers of the river. As he pressed onward, the signs grew stronger. He heard rushing water in a valley where no river lay. He glimpsed fish swimming in the sky, their scales flashing like starlight before dissolving. The world itself seemed to bend, tugged by an unseen current. Yet Zeus understood. The river would not be found by strength alone. No lightning bolt could split the clouds to reveal it. No decree could command it forward. The oracle's warning rang in his ears. Asterisk. Seek not alone. Asterisk. It was a humbling thought for the king of gods. One night, on a hilltop, he gazed into the heavens. Stars stretched above, older than memory. For a fleeting moment, they rippled, as though the sky itself were water. The sight stirred something deep within him. Not fear, not power, but wonder. The next day, he was not alone. Hermes appeared, swift and smiling. You wander far, father. What do you chase through valleys and stars? Zeus studied him. I seek the river. Hermes raised a brow. Ah, so the whispers reached even you. True enough to follow, Zeus said. Then let me walk with you, Hermes grinned. For rivers are roads in disguise, and I know the hidden paths. Pride urged Zeus to walk alone, but the oracle's counsel echoed in his heart. Then walk beside me, son. Let the river reveal what it will. Together, they journeyed on, through valleys where shadows bent strangely, through forests where time itself seemed to pause. Hermes saw what Zeus had missed, light flickering in a stone, a hum beneath the ground. The signs grew bolder. A cave glowed with pale blue mist. A riverbed, dry for centuries, shimmered with sudden water, then vanished. At the edge of a meadow, Zeus saw it. For a heartbeat only, a silver current flashing across the horizon. It arched upward, as though sky and earth were no longer separate. He reached out, but it was gone. Yet Zeus knew, these were no longer fragments. They were promises. The river was near. As the stars rose again, Zeus whispered to the night, I will find you. And somewhere, unseen, the river stirred. The journey grew stranger with each passing day. Zeus and Hermes followed signs that shimmered, then vanished. Mountains whispered with voices that were not wind. Rivers flowed backward, carrying echoes instead of water. Everywhere, the world bent under the river's hidden pulse. At dusk, they reached a valley where stars seemed to bloom in the grass. Each step crackled with starlight, as though they walked the edge of heaven. Hermes knelt, touching the glowing ground. This is no mortal soil, he said. Zeus felt it too. The valley was alive, humming like a string plucked by unseen hands. They camped beneath a sky that rippled like water. Dreams came swiftly, heavy with visions. Zeus dreamed of a current, vast and endless, stretching through time itself. He reached for it, but the river slipped away, leaving silence. Hermes dreamed too. He saw a mirror of himself walking ahead, then vanishing into silver mist. When dawn came, they shared their visions. "The river speaks," Hermes whispered. Zeus nodded. But in riddles, the valley stretched before them, endless and strange. They pressed on. A grove of trees stood in their path, leaves shining like glass. The air grew heavy, as if time slowed. Birds froze mid-flight, wings unmoving, suspended like stars in still water. Hermes frowned. "Father, are we trapped?" Zeus placed his hand on a tree. The bark pulsed beneath his palm, alive with hidden energy. "The river passes through here," Zeus murmured. He raised his eyes to the horizon. For a heartbeat, he saw it again, a silver current, flowing not across land but through the sky. Hermes gasped. "Do you see it?" "I do," Zeus said. "The path is opening." But as quickly as it appeared, the vision faded. Silence fell. Only their footsteps remained, echoing in the strange stillness. Zeus's thoughts burned with the oracle's warning. Asterisk. The river reflects all who walk beside you. Asterisk. It was not a journey of one, perhaps not even of two. Somewhere, deep in his heart, Zeus knew more would join them before the river revealed its truth. As night fell again, the stars above shimmered like liquid light. Zeus whispered into the darkness, not as king, but as seeker. The river is near, and somewhere, unseen, the current stirred once more. The journey had tested Zeus and Hermes, bending the edges of reality. The river remained just out of reach, like a melody you could hum but never touch. The oracle's words returned. Asterisk. Seek not alone. Asterisk. And so the path began to weave others into their story. Athena was the first. She stepped from the mists at dawn, calm and radiant. "You seek the River of Immortality," she said. Zeus asked, "How do you know this path?" "I dreamed of it," Athena answered. "You stood at its banks, father, but you were not alone." The prophecy was unfolding, step by step. With Athena at their side, the road felt different. She noticed what others missed. Symbols in stone, shifting stars, patterns hidden in trees. Her wisdom was a lantern for the unseen. The forest whispered riddles. The ground folded like paper, bending time. "These are not tricks," Athena warned. "The river tests those who seek it." On the third night, another joined them. A figure approached, carrying a lyre that sang without touch. It was Apollo, god of music and light. "I heard your path," he said. "The river's song reached me." "Song?" Zeus asked. Apollo nodded. "It hums in every current of the world. Only those who listen can hear." He strummed his lyre. A note filled the night, endless and pure. The stars pulsed gently, keeping rhythm with his music. Hermes laughed. "If we must wander riddles, let's wander with a tune." Now 4 walked together. Zeus, Hermes, Athena, Apollo. Power, speed, wisdom, song, each gift the river seemed to call for. Yet Zeus wondered. Asterisk. Why these companions? Asterisk. The answer came in a barren land, where silence swallowed sound. No stars, no wind, only emptiness. Even Zeus's thunder could not break it. Apollo strummed one note. The silence parted like dawn-breaking night. The path opened. Shadows dissolved. Stars returned. The river's presence rushed closer, undeniable. Zeus saw the truth. The river revealed itself only to harmony. Strength, wisdom, swiftness, and song. Moving together. That night, they shared their visions of the river. Athena spoke of endless knowledge. Hermes spoke of roads bending beyond time. Apollo spoke of music that healed eternity's silence. Zeus spoke of longing, not for power, not for eternity, but for truth. The others grew quiet. Even gods rarely spoke of longing. Yet in that stillness, each felt it too. The river was reflection. The river was revelation. And perhaps it was destiny. As fire dimmed, Zeus looked to the sky. For a heartbeat, he saw it again, a silver current flowing through the heavens. It shimmered, then vanished. The journey was not over, but with each new companion, the river drew closer, and somewhere, unseen, it stirred with anticipation. The river's signs grew stronger as they pressed forward. Stars bent closer each night, rippling like water. At dawn, whispers rose in the wind, faint but undeniable. Still, the river did not reveal itself. It waited, it tested, it called. On the 12th day, they reached a canyon carved by light. Its walls pulsed softly, like the heartbeat of the earth. At its center stood a figure, tall and still. Its eyes were pools of ancient sky. Its skin shimmered with flowing patterns like rivers. The figure spoke, voice like waves meeting shore. I am the guardian of the current. The gods exchanged wary glances. Zeus stepped forward. We seek the River of Immortality. The guardian's gaze did not waver. Immortality you already hold, yet still you seek. Why? The question struck in silence. Zeus faltered. No power, no pride could answer. Athena spoke. Because truth is greater than eternity, and truth is what he seeks. The guardian's eyes softened. Then truth you shall be tested for. The canyon shifted. Stone walls melted into mirrors of water. Each mirror reflected not faces, but fears. Hermes saw himself doubled, one racing ahead, one left behind. I fear the road without end, he whispered. Athena saw crumbling libraries, knowledge lost to time. I fear wisdom forgotten, lessons unlearned. Apollo saw silence deeper than night, where no song could reach. I fear a world without music. Zeus saw a throne, empty and cold. Olympus hollow, lightning silent. A kingdom without meaning. The guardian spoke. Face your fear or turn away. Hermes placed his hand on the mirror. I will walk, even if endless. The journey is the gift. Athena touched hers. I will guard wisdom though time may erode. It must live on. Apollo strummed his lyre. One note against silence. I will sing, even in darkness. No night can swallow song. Zeus faced his hollow throne. I will not rule for power, nor fear of being forgotten. I will seek meaning. The canyon pulsed, as though the world breathed. The mirrors dissolved into mist. The guardian lowered its hand. You have faced yourselves. Now you may follow the current. The canyon opened. A silver glow stretched into the horizon. Not the river itself, but the path to it. The gods felt its pull, undeniable. The guardian dissolved into light, merging with the current. Its final words lingered like water. The river reveals not who you are, but who you are becoming. The gods stood in silence. Hearts stirred. The river was closer than ever before. And somewhere, unseen, it stirred with waiting power. The path from the canyon stretched into a land unlike any they had seen. It was neither earth nor sky, but a place suspended between both. A silver mist curled along the ground, shimmering like glass. As they walked, the mist parted to reveal a chain of floating islands. Bridges of light arched between them, glowing like moonlit threads. Hermes touched one bridge, half in wonder, half in doubt. It rippled beneath his hand, yet held firm. This place is alive, he whispered. Athena shook her head. Not alive, aware. It waits for us. They crossed the first bridge. The island was ringed with crystalline trees, branches swaying without wind. At its center stood a pool, perfectly still. It reflected not the sky above, but scenes from their past. Hermes leaned closer and saw himself stealing Apollo's cattle. He laughed in memory, yet feared rejection if caught. The pool whispered, every jest hides a truth. Apollo gazed and saw mortals staring in awe mixed with fear. The pool whispered, every song carries shadow. Athena saw heroes, guided by her wisdom, yet some failing. The pool whispered, every wisdom has a cost. Zeus stepped forward and saw storms unleashed and mortals trembling. But he also saw silence, choices not taken, kindness withheld. The pool whispered, "Every power has a silence." They withdrew, unsettled, the pool revealing but not judging. On the second island, statues lined the shore. Each statue was a reflection of themselves, but changed. Hermes was chained, wings gone. Apollo's lyre was broken. Athena's scrolls burned at her feet. Zeus's statue crumbled, hollow within. "These are not fates," Athena said softly. "They are warnings." Zeus wished to strike them down, but restrained himself. Instead, he whispered, "Then we must remember." The third island held no pool, no statues, only a circle of stones and a single flame. The flame burned without fuel, golden and steady. It flickered and spoke within their hearts. To Hermes, "Your swiftness can scatter or gather. Choose." To Apollo, "Your song can heal or wound. Choose." To Athena, "Your wisdom can guide or blind. Choose." To Zeus, "Your power can bind or free. Choose." They stood in silence, flame reflecting in their eyes. Each felt a choice shaping within. The flame dimmed, leaving only warmth behind. The bridges ahead glowed brighter, calling them forward. Hermes sighed, his usual levity gone. "These isles show not the future, but ourselves." Athena touched his shoulder. "And perhaps that is the path to know ourselves first." Apollo strummed his lyre softly, thoughtful. Every reflection is a song waiting to be heard. Zeus raised his gaze toward the shining path. "Then let us walk on. The river draws nearer." They crossed the final bridge, the isles fading into mist. Yet the pool's whispers, the statue's warnings, and the flame's counsel followed them. Ahead, beyond the silver veil, the river stirred louder, closer, waiting to be seen. Beyond the isles of reflection, the gods entered a valley carved of sound. No stones rose, no trees grew, yet the air trembled with unseen voices. Each step they took released a shimmering note. The valley itself seemed to sing. Hermes tapped his heel, and the ground answered with a chord. "This place, it plays us," he whispered. Apollo tilted his head, lyre close to hand. "This valley remembers every word, every truth ever spoken." He strummed, and the valley caught the note, multiplying it into melody. Athena closed her eyes. She heard debates, oaths, the cries of children, the first words of mortals. The valley held them all in a single chorus. Zeus raised his voice. "River of Immortality, where are you?" The echoes split, reshaping, returning as countless voices. "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?" At the valley's center stood an archway formed of sound itself. Notes spiraled, woven into shifting patterns. Beyond lay a golden path of resonance. The choir swelled, questions rising like riddles. To Hermes, "What is flight if never home?" To Apollo, "What is beauty if only memory?" To Athena, "Is wisdom still truth if unheard?" To Zeus, "Is a storm still a storm if it never calms?" The valley fell silent, waiting for their answers. Hermes spoke first. "My journey is nothing without return. Flight is only half the story." Apollo lifted his lyre. "My song lives in the moment. Beauty is not bound to time." Athena's voice was calm. "Wisdom remains true, even if none will follow it." Zeus raised his hand. Sparks faint in the air. Power is knowing when to be still. A storm is no less for passing. The choir shivered. Then voices rose in harmony. Their answers became verses, woven into the valley's song. The archway pulsed brighter, the path ahead alive with sound. A unified voice rose. "The river waits for those who carry harmony within. You may pass." Hermes grinned. "Finally, a door that sings." Apollo bowed his head, fingers brushing his lyre. "I will carry this valley song in every note I play." Athena whispered, "Even echoes hold wisdom." Zeus stood tall, the archway glowing. "The river lies ahead. Let us walk to meet it." They stepped forward, swallowed by sound. Their voices carried into the waiting song of the River of Immortality. The path of sound carried them into a realm of silence. It was not empty silence, but one heavy with memory. Before them stretched a radiant bridge, glowing with shifting visions. It was woven not from stone or gold, but from stories and lives. Hermes leaned forward, wonder in his voice. The bridge of memory. They say none cross without facing themselves. Apollo touched its surface, reverence in his hands. It is made of every word and deed that shaped the world. His lyre sang, and the bridge showed a mother's lullaby. Athena's eyes sharpened. This is no mere bridge. It is a test. We must not falter. Zeus stepped forward, and storms lit beneath his feet. Yet the visions showed not ruin, but new life born of rain and fire. Hermes walked lightly, and paths unfolded in his wake. Journeys of meeting, parting, laughter, and tears. Apollo stepped, and the bridge filled with voices. Songs of devotion, but also silences where none remembered him. He nodded. Even silence is part of the song. Athena crossed with calm grace. Faces seeking her counsel appeared. Some listened, some turned away. Her voice was steady. Wisdom given is never wasted. It shapes what comes. Together they walked further, their memories weaving as one. The bridge glowed brighter, carrying the weight of all humanity. At the center, a voice rose like wind over water. To cross me, you must know this. Immortality is memory. To be remembered is to remain. To be forgotten is to fade. Zeus lowered his head, his voice thoughtful. Life's meaning is in the ripples we leave, not endless breath. Hermes smiled. Immortality is in every message carried onward. Apollo plucked a note, and in every song, memory keeps beauty alive. Athena spoke with quiet certainty. Truth endures, even when unheeded. The bridge brightened, glowing like dawn. It carried them forward, step by step, across the current of time. On the far side, they stood in silence, gazing back. The bridge still shimmered, holding their stories among countless others. It did not vanish, for memory never dies. It flows on, eternal, like the river itself. Zeus turned to his companions, voice steady. The river teaches us. Life is not glory, but legacy. The air hummed, the river listening. They had crossed not by force, but by understanding. And so they walked on, drawn to the river's song. Its call was clearer now than ever before. The path opened to a valley bathed in golden light. At its heart flowed the River of Immortality, wider than any sea. Its current was clear, yet filled with visions of laughter and sorrow. The river carried not water, but stories without end. Zeus stood at its edge, awe softening his face. For once, the storm within him was silent. Hermes knelt, brushing the surface with his hand. Instead of water, he felt warmth, like countless hands greeting him. It remembers every traveler, he whispered. Apollo leaned close, hearing melodies within the current. His lyre vibrated, answering the river's eternal song. This is eternity, he breathed, a song with no end. Athena saw faces drift, kings, farmers, children alike. All were equal here, every life a shining thread. The river carries all, she said. None are forgotten. The current shifted, and a vast voice rose. Why do you seek me, children of Olympus? Zeus bowed his head. We seek not to take, but to understand. We wish to know what it means to endure. The river rippled with starlight. To endure is not to escape time. It is to live within it, leaving ripples that flow onward. Hermes smiled softly. Immortality is not mine to hold, but mine to share, carried in the stories I bring. Apollo plucked a note, merging with the current. Every song, even when unheard, belongs to the river. Athena's voice was calm. Every truth offered, even if lost, still flows within your waters. Zeus breathed deeply. Every storm, every choice, leaves a mark in life's current. The river glowed brighter, wrapping them in light. You have learned immortality is not possession, but presence. It is not forever living, but forever remembered. For a moment, time itself seemed to pause. Their reflections shone not as rulers, but as travelers. Zeus lifted his hand, but did not touch the water. The truth was clear. It was already theirs. Hermes laughed lightly. We have been immortal all along. We only needed to listen. Apollo's music blended with the river until they were one. My songs are yours, he whispered to the current. Athena bowed her head. My wisdom flows with you, guiding where it is needed. Zeus smiled, his voice steady. All life, mortal and divine, is already part of eternity. The river shimmered, its voice fading into light. Go then, carry my reflection with you. You too are my waters. The gods turned, stepping back from the edge. Above, the sky glowed with stars like memories, and the river flowed on, eternal, unseen yet ever present. Its song lived in every story, every truth, every song yet to come.